mixed doubles on court 2. But of course, finals continue on court 1 with women's singles. And what a prospect it is. Inthanon Ratchanok of Thailand up against Tai Tzu Ying of Taipei.
On court number 1, please give a warm welcome to from Chinese Taipei, Tai Tzu Ying. Her opponent for tonight from Thailand, Inthanon Ratchanok. The umpire, Tai Tzu Ying. Service judge, Alan Potter.
Well, if you were with us yesterday, you will have seen Tzu Ying of Taipei dispose of the number 4 seed, Saina Nehwal of India, in 2 straight games. And as for this young lady from Thailand, Inthanon Ratchanok, well, she disposed of the 2009 champion here at the Denmark Open, number 8 seed, home favourite, Tina Baun. And she not only had to battle her opponent, the crowd, and my goodness, she played so well. The future of world badminton women's singles is before us right now. 16 years of age against a 17-year-old. Quite awesome. Combined age of 33, which is really quite remarkable. You've pointed out to me before play got underway today that in fact we've got 3 players 17 or younger in quarterfinals, because Victor Axelsen in the men's singles, he's only 17 and he's the reigning world junior champion, as indeed is Inthanon Ratchanok. But let's look at Tai Tzu Ying, world ranking of 18. She's played 23 tournaments in the last 12 months. That really is a lot in badminton terms. A win-loss record for the year, 31 and 18. But I think it's been very impressive. The most impressive thing for me is the players she's beaten and taken the full distance in 12 months. But here in Denmark, had to dispose of a qualifier from Hong Kong in the first round. That was only 39 minutes for those 3 games, but it really was very, very impressive against the number 4 seed Saina Nehwal from in yesterday's match. 36 minutes for that encounter. So to Ratchanok from Thailand, 16 years of age, making her first appearance here at the Danish Open. 2-time world junior champion, reigning junior champion. She'll be off to defend her title in Taipei. She'll be off in a week's time. And her win-loss record for the year, I can tell you, translates into reaching the final of the Chinese Taipei Open. But look at that, Tina Baun, the former champion here, twice all in. Tina Baun, World Championship bronze medalist from last year in Paris. And of course, the number 8 seed here this year. And to beat a champion 21-16, 21-15, when you're only 16 years of age, I think tells us all that you're a hard individual.
I think the first round match is quite interesting as well, because that was the upcoming Junior Championships. That was number 1 seed against number 2 seed. Caroline Marin from Spain will be seeded 2 behind her in the World Junior Championship, so that's quite interesting as well. And it's great to see so many younger players qualifying for Super Series, and it augurs well for the future, that's for sure.
Absolutely. We are a little confused as we look at our court officials for this match about the fact that Tai Tzu Ying doesn't appear to be Junior Championships in her home country. Do you have any inside scoop on why that might be?
No, I don't. And it's not as if there are too many tournaments by the look of a schedule so far this year. They're obviously concentrating on trying to qualify for the Olympics. She's already had 1 or 2 wins against the top Chinese players, and it looks as though they're focusing very much on a senior career, but it would have been a good chance for them maybe to pick up a home win in the World Championships on their own soil.
On my right, Tai Tzu Ying, Chinese Taipei. On my left, Inthanon Ratchanok, Thailand. Ratchanok to star. Level. Break.
So the reigning world junior champion, Inthanon Ratchanok from Thailand, nearest to us.
From Thailand,
Tai Tzu Ying of Taipei, far side of the courts. Well, we've already talked about the fact that Tai Tzu Ying has played 23 tournaments in the last 12 months. I can tell you that Ratchanok has played 21. I'm just wondering, Ian, whether this philosophy that obviously they're about giving these youngsters so much experience going from tournament to tournament it seems very different to perhaps what we see from the Chinese squad, where suddenly a player will come on to the world scene and be winning these tournaments, whereas obviously these two nations, Thailand, have decided, no, we want to build them up gradually, give them a lot of experience, get them to understand what world badminton is all about. Very different.
Yeah, but I think possibly easily explained by the fact that China can keep their younger girls in the training centre and they can play against 3 or 4 of the top players in the world every day. They don't need to send them out to get high level practice. These girls at 16, 17 are already, you know, possibly the best players in their own countries, and they need to get them out to get that element of experience of playing better players. And I think that would probably explain it. The other thing is that they're playing a mix of tournaments, both of them. They're playing some lower level events where they can learn how to win and how to go through the rounds and look after yourself during a tournament, and at the same time they're playing some higher level Super Series events where they can play the top players in the world. And so far you would say that the strategy for both of them is being very successful.
Yeah, I certainly concur with that. And it's quite incredible to me that in senior open badminton, this is actually the 4th meeting between these two players. Previous 3, it's Ratchanok, who's won 2 of them, including the last one, which was in the quarterfinal of the Taipei event earlier this year. 2 straight games, 21-19, 21-19. But just really to emphasise the point you've made, Ian, I can see that her first international title was the Vietnam International event of 2009, which she won when she was only 14.
Yeah.
That's incredible, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. It's interesting. We've, you know, over the years we've not had so many young players coming through at this level for a few years now, and it does remind me a little bit of Mia Ordina. That Mia Ordina was an Indonesian player who came out very, very early. You know, she was playing for the senior national team, I think, at 14 years of age. And,
remember Mia Ordina playing the crucial and deciding 3rd women's singles in the Uber Cup final as a 14-year-old. Stadium in Jakarta, were you there?
I wasn't there, but I remember the occasion, very famous occasion. But I can say that possibly 3 years before that, I actually coached against Mia Ordina in what was then the Bimantara tournament, which was the preceding tournament to the World Junior Championships. That was the unofficial World Junior Championships, and she was 10. Junior Championships, and she played one of our English girls and actually won in the first round match. It was I was absolutely astounded. And it was no surprise 3 years later when she was playing in the cauldron and winning the decisive point.
Yes, against a certain Chang Ning.
Yes, yes, no mean opponent.
No, of course, Chang Ning went on to win 2 Olympic Games gold medals. In fact, he's the reigning Olympic champion. But it does a crucial issue, actually, with these 2 players that we're watching now, because Mira Ordina actually struggled desperately with injuries by the age of 23, 24, you know, and we've talked about the amount of tournaments that these 2 are already playing, and whether with a developer, you know, neither of them are physically at their prime yet, whether they perhaps need to be a little bit careful that they don't overdo it. They're obviously doing very, very beating them at the moment, but long term, how much damage is done, and it's got to be managed in time, hasn't it, the amount that they play?
It has. I think there is more science in the game now. I think there is more physical preparation than in when Mia Ordina was coming through. You would hope that they're getting better advice and better, a little bit more science in their physical preparation. But you're right, they are still young, developing athletes, and you do need to take care of them. The interesting thing is, of course, with the Asian players that, you know, in Europe we'll talk about, you know, peaking at 24, 25, whereas in Asia they'll think 19, 20, you know, there's no reason why they can't be at their top level. So there's a slightly different philosophy about career and when a career starts between the different cultures.
Yes, very fair point. Well, as far as Tai Tzu Ying is concerned, really needs to close the gap a little bit more before the mid-game interval. Oh, that's delightful, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a very impressive start from the girl from Thailand. It really is. So composed. So composed.
What technically makes these 2 so special?
The fact that they're so complete, so young, I think, is the probable answer. They've both got all the shots. They've both got great control of the racket head under pressure, which means their grip's very relaxed. They can change the direction of the shuttle very easily. Got a great variety of shot from the rear court in particular. It's interesting. The girl from Taiwan yesterday, Tai Tzu Ying started so quickly against a more highly ranked player. And here she just looks a little bit stressed playing someone of her own age. Possibly putting a bit today.
That is just phenomenal. What a net. I have noticed that Tai Tzu Ying has got heavy strapping on her right leg. Now, I just wonder whether that is perhaps the reason why she hasn't started quite as positively as she did yesterday. Also, interestingly, she's got strapping on her left shoulder. No,
yeah, that's quite unusual. Strapping on the left shoulder. Can't see it, maybe supporting from the other side. It may be going right across. Can't really see, but certainly it's strapping that wasn't there yesterday. So many tournaments.
Wear and tear.
A little bit of overuse. Very important to get the balance right between tournament play and physical preparation.
Yes.
It's a one-sided sport. There's a lot of pressure for right-handers on right shoulder, right leg. And in terms of the movements into the rear court, the left ankle, then you need to do a lot of work to make sure that you balance up your body. You do work on both sides of the body to keep the balance.
Oh, this is from Tai Tzu Ying. Four straight points. Well, the run comes to an end, but those 5 points really have brought her back into contention, because in the looked as if she really wasn't coping with the deception and tactics of her opponent. Good judgment. Lets it drop long. Noticed, Ian, that both these players very much using the big high serve, and presumably that's because neither of them feel the other is a threat from very deep in court.
Yeah, I think you have to know that their opponents have got great deceptive returns to the short service.
Yes.
Both of them are very skillful from below net height.
Yep.
They've got a lot of variety, and as you say, there's no great power from the rear court, so it's probably the safer option. That's a great shot. Line, and that hit the line. Shuttle almost skidded down the line, in fact. Yeah. There's a little clash in styles between the two of them, isn't there? Inthanon very physical around the court, very explosive in her movements. Great change of pace, whereas Inthanon actually is quite a deceptive mover. You don't realise she's moving so quickly, because I just have the feeling she sees the shuttle very, very early. It just, her anticipation's very, very good. She sees the shuttle early and she's always in position. And that was a good example. It was an interception, but she'd read it early, was in position early, made it look very easy. But the same again. If they'd come over, she was there waiting for it. Watch how she reads this. She was there. She was moving already,
yeah,
wasn't she? She just sees the shuttle very, very early.
That's a super shot. It's not only the technical ability. You've talked about the anticipation, but when she's playing her overhead shot, she's also got peripheral vision to see where her opponent is, knowing where to place the shuttle and when to go for the winner.
No, she's very impressive. Well, they're both very impressive, to be honest, but Inthanon at the moment's got a slight edge in this match. No great power. With precision like that, you don't need it.
Yeah. Once again, knew it was cross court.
Yeah, good awareness.
2 points from this opening game. Well, it was a run of 6 straight points. Very different complexion on this opening game, hasn't it? I was saying, well, at 11-9, Tai Tzu Ying was right back in it, sensing the danger. Ratchanok just eases away again. Oh, good clear.
Good recovery as well. Another high quality exchange. That's brilliant.
Absolutely phenomenal.
Again, you don't have the impression she's moving that quickly, but she got behind that shuttle exceedingly quickly and hit a great angle.
There's a little moment of magic. 9 game points. Missed it. Only needed the one. 21-11.
Inthanon Ratchanok, 21-11.
Well, it's faultless in that opening game. 16-year-old from Thailand. Quite extraordinary. Good movement, gliding across the court. 15 minutes of play for 21-11. Well, that's interesting. Moved the strapping. Or quad muscle, not quite sure which it was protecting. It was obviously, she felt it was hampering her movement. Well, the coach from time talking to his player.
เวลาเราออกลูกเร็วปุ๊บเนี่ยต้องยกไม้ให้เร็วคอยปิดมือสาดดาดมามันตบไล่มานะมันจะตัดมันจะดาดมากับตัดมานะแล้วก็ระวังหน้ากับระวังลูกดาดกลับมาแค่นั้นนะยกไม้
It's always a very animated character, isn't he?
Yeah, it's quite interesting with both of these coaches. We've seen them around the circuit for a long time, and both of them adopting a much calmer attitude with these younger athletes, which is nice to see. Very calm, very collected. I have to say, tactically, I think Tai's got to just be a little bit more patient. I just feel she over the first game. And Inthanon, because of her anticipation, was able to counter very well.
Oh, just missed it.
Yeah, and again there, I think just lacking a little bit. It was really a 50-50 chance she took down the line there. She just needs to be a little bit more patient, play the rallies out, manoeuvre her opponent around a little bit more.
That's precision once again on the attacking play from. Now, during the interval there, while the players were changing ends, we noticed that Tai Tzu Ying removed that strapping from the top of her leg. Don't know whether it was hamstring or a quad problem, but Obviously, the strapping was bothering her, hampering her movement or something. In fact, a number of times we see players, especially with back supports and so on, once they're very warmed up, they remove that strapping or support and just to free up the movement a little bit.
Again, it's but her opponent was actually waiting for it. She'd read it again.
This anticipation, is it something that you obviously, as your experience of coaching, is it something that a player is born with, or can you teach it? Presumably you can improve any aspect of the game through coaching, but is it a natural talent that some players are blessed with?
Yeah, some players pick it up. It's more natural for some players than others. Others will learn it through harder work. But I mean, there's been a lot of study in this area, and top players will actually read the direction that their opponent's going to hit the shuttle before their opponent actually hits the shuttle. So from the way the racket approaches the shuttle before contact's made, they'll anticipate the direction. And what's unusual here is how young Inthanon is. That's very, very impressive. Normally it would take a little bit longer to apply that anticipation at the level of the game.
Sorry, 6.
So far, she certainly seems to have all the answers in. Tai not really finding the tactic to create any pressure or create any stress for her opponent at the moment. Just looks a little bit frustrated tactically at the moment. Trying to force the game in the forecourt there, and again her opponent was alive to it and anticipated the return net shot. Easy kill.
Yes, to me the body language of absolutely screaming out, I'm not sure what I'm supposed to be doing next. Trying everything, and everything she tries is coming back with interest.
Yeah, but she's here to learn. As we said at the beginning of the match as well, Jill, it's one thing going on against one of the top Chinese players, nothing to lose, playing free, playing all of her shots, lots of variety, no pressure. Now, quarter-final, semi-final beckoning, playing a girl of her own age. You know, she's got to feel that she's got a good chance, and it's a different sort of pressure, and these are the situations she needs to learn from.
Great rally and a wonderful finish once again from Ratchanok. And
Great.
Of course, if she did get through, she would be in new territory. This is her 4th Super Series quarterfinal. She's never been beyond a quarterfinal, whereas her opponent has.
Yep.
She doesn't look as if she's intimidated by that prospect or letting that bother her at the moment.
No.
Excited about it and out of her mind.
As coaches like to say, she's in the moment. Playing point by point, she's very focused, she's found a good rhythm. Showing lots of good skill.
Oh, my word. That's so good, isn't it? To the mid-game interval with a 7-point advantage.
Yeah. You know, you've got to wonder, Jill, a lot of the top players are probably not going to improve before London in the next 6 months because they're at their peak.
Yep.
these two girls, there are a lot of areas they can actually improve in. They're gaining experience all the time. Even physically, they'll develop a little bit more before London. These are on a steep upward curve of improvement at the moment. Can they, at this age, actually perform in that Olympic environment? I think it's really, really interesting times in the ladies' singles.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's very, very interesting times for so many years. Everybody's just been of the preconceived assumption that a Chinese player will take titles, but we've got so many good youngsters from India, from Thailand, from Taipei. It is very, very nice.
Yeah, no, there's a good variety of countries producing good young players at the moment. That's great. I'd even throw in the Spanish girl there as well. I think she's made great improvement this year. Had a good World Championships, improved a lot. I think for her, I think the Olympics will be too soon, but she's improved dramatically, and it's nice to see her qualifying for Super Series.
Yeah.
But I do feel if these two girls can go and play free in that environment, they're going to be very, very dangerous. Very, very dangerous.
It's interesting because you say, you know, there's still areas they can improve, and of course as 16 and 17-year-olds, of course one assumes that is the case. But, you know, we were discussing earlier on about how they're both very complete. Technically, they have all the shots. Are you sort of thinking that tactically there's room for improvement, physically improvement, or is there a glaring weakness technically with either of them? To me, they look very complete.
No, I think it's the decision making and the shot selection which are the key areas which they'll learn with experience. You know, they'll start to make the right choices at the right time under pressure, and that certainly improve physically. They'll both develop physically naturally because they're both so young. I think technically the difference that may occur is both will probably get a little bit more power and penetration from the rear of the court as they develop physically, and that will change things. It will change their options a little bit as well. They'll obviously have to learn to deal with that and to apply that to their games.
I'd add into the mix as well to deal with pressure and the burden of expectation, because they're now both getting such results. Oh, that's just wide. That they will be playing matches in future where they're expected to win, and it'll be a completely different scenario.
Yeah, and I think we're seeing that a little bit with Tai Tzu Ying here. She's put a little bit of pressure on herself. Great win yesterday, quarter-final Super Series, playing another non-seeded player. She, you know, I think she herself. But this is where the coaches have to be good and well balanced and just talk her through the situation, get her to learn from her, talk about it, get her talking about the situation, what she felt, and you know how she's going to deal with it next time.
No, that's just wide as well. She wasn't missing with those earlier. There's a sort of quiet determination with Inthanon Ratchanok, isn't there? You can see the little clenched fist at times, but it's not overt sort of squealing and shouting as some of the. So I like her whole demeanour, her whole attitude on court.
Yeah, I think that's fair comment. It's very well balanced, I think. It doesn't get too emotional, but as you say, there is that little bit of grit there that you can see. But I think that's the same, to be honest. So far today, it's Inthanon's day, but I think on another day it could be a different result at the moment. Both of them are well. Fantastic wins yesterday to reach this stage, beating really seasoned top players. Come from both of them.
Oh, my goodness. How on earth did she control that net shot?
Again, it's this relaxed grip, super control of the racket head from late there. Look at that. That's great skill. Look how late she is. Controls it.
Phenomenal.
Yeah, disheartening for her opponent.
Yes, and I think that error on the Tai Tzu Ying, an indication of the, well, lack of belief now.
Yeah, but I think again she saw her opponent had actually read she was going to play net, and that means you have to reduce your margin for error and try and roll it on the tape, and she just missed it.
17.
Almost every shot she's playing at the moment, her opponent has picked the direction and the pace of it, and she's there.
Yes, and of course it means that Tai Tzu Ying feels probably in her own mind she's got to hit the perfect shot every time, not giving herself any. No. This is a demonstration really from the 16-year-old.
Well, if she plays like this, she's going to give everybody a game here this week.
Unbelievable.
19-10.
2 from her first ever Super Series semi-final.
Mistake.
11.
Looked out of place in this game.
Well,
20.
just missing the line there, Tai Tzu Ying. And it means that Inthanon Ratchanok from Thailand has 9 match points. Oh, it's deep into the back corner.
It's a great shot, great control.
12. 20.
Pulled her opponent out of position many times in this match, but that was a super shot.
Well, just emphasising your point once again, Ian. She may have made the error on the defensive shot, but she was waiting for it on that forehand side.
She was there, she'd read the direction of it. Very impressive.
This time, second time of asking. And she affords herself a little smile, as indeed she should do, because that was a performance. 21-11, 21-13.
by Inthanon Ratchanok. 11. 21-13.
Score confirmed by the umpire. Well, what a delight. These two very, very talented youngsters. seem to have the answers. The graceful movement, full repertoire of shots, tactical awareness. And she's through to her first ever semi-final in a Super Series tournament in just 33 minutes of play. Well, there were many in that encounter. Neither tall, but just showing how racket skills so important in our sport. Of course, Ian, there's other sports. You know, the athletes, the players seem to be getting bigger and bigger, whereas badminton, we've got this delight of having players that are shorter in stature, but my racket skills, you can achieve so much.
Yes, agility is a bigger factor in badminton, that change of direction, and also change of height from low to high, high to low. Just agility is such an important quality, and we saw it in abundance from both these good, as we did in that first singles. Lee Chongwei, Chen Jin, fantastic athletes, all of them. I have to say, I really enjoyed that. It's nice to see two fresh faces at this stage of the tournament. So young, such good skills.
So that confirms that Inthanon Ratchanok through to the semi-final. And whilst we haven't had confirmation, it obviously means that has been given a walkover against her teammate Yang Xiao, because no score there, so it must have been a walkover. We haven't seen them on the adjoining court, and with the match in the bottom quarter of the draw, Xian defeated Sung Ji-hyung of Korea in 2 straight games. Sung Ji-hyung, in recent good form, won the Taipei events a few weeks ago.